Do you have a passion project you want to bring to life? Let Jamila Adams at Your Service help you. Jamila Adams at Your Service was created to assist businesswomen 40 plus by bringing their passion project to life through website design and marketing. Visit her website, JamilaAdamsAtYourService.com, and register for a free 30-minute consultation. Remember, you have a voice. Use it.
It's time for some hostile therapy.
Check out Hostile Therapy with Big Red on Thursdays at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Live on YouTube.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Giggles. Make sure and go check out Listen Up, Listen In podcast with Preezy. Real talk for real people.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Swap out education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm glad everybody tuned in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And before I get started, all praises due to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. And listen, I got a special guest with me today. Yes, indeed. This is going to be an awesome show, guys. It's going to be awesome. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do with my special guest now. But let me tell y'all a little bit about this young, beautiful lady here. Okay? Pay attention now. Pay attention. She was born in the UK, but now living in the Canary Islands. She's worked in social care for over 30 years, mostly in mental health, homelessness services, and with ex-offenders. She was pretty much a nightmare at secondary school, and she thinks most of her teachers from back then would have been very surprised that she turned out to be very responsible. Yes, that's awesome. Her favorite school report said she enjoyed school too much. Wow. And luckily, her mom took it as it being a positive thing. She wasn't quite so keen that she held the record for the female pupil on report for the longest consecutive time. But that's all good. It's all good. I want to give a hand clap, a round of applause to my special guest, Molly Garcia. What's up, Molly? How you doing?
All good at this end. How are you?
I'm good. I love your accent, Molly. I love it. Listen, how's your day going so far, though? How's your day?
Not a bad day, all in all. It was raining earlier, but now the sun's come out. Who can complain about that?
Wow, that's good. With us, I'm in New York City, but there's some wildfires going on in Canada, and it's affecting a lot of the states. So it's very cloudy outside, and you could kind of smell like it smells like smoke or some type of chemicals. So it's affecting everybody. I had a friend of mine. She said it's all the way in Delaware, it's in Virginia, so it's pretty bad for us here. So I'm glad your weather is not so bad. So that's a good thing. So, Miss Molly, I done gave my bio. Not my bio. I done told your bio. I gave a little information about you, but I want you to tell my audience who Molly Garcia is.
I'm an author, so I write thrillers and horror books. I have always written, but I was never really quite brave enough to send them anywhere or do anything with them for a long, long time. But when we moved here, I decided that was all part of the new life that we were going to have after we'd left the UK. So I self-published some of my work, and it's coming along okay. It's actually not too bad. I'm an avid reader.
Nice. Nice. And the name of your book, and you sent me a book. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. It's called The Wood. Am I correct?
Willow Weeps.
Willow. I'm sorry, Willow. Duh.
Hey,
Sorry
W's.
about that. Sorry about
It's all the
that.
W's.
So is this your first book?
No, it's not. That will be around my fifth or sixth, I think it was. So been going at it
Wow.
for a bit, but I think you kind of get better as you go along. So, I
Wow.
think the later ones are always that little bit better. You've kind of maybe put a little bit more into those because you know what you're doing more than you did when you kind of whacked out those first books. So hopefully this one will do really well.
It will. It will. Just claim it. You already got this. Now let's rewind a little bit. You said now you was into social care for over 30 years. Wow. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I started quite young, so after leaving school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I found this job advert to be a nursing assistant in a mental health unit, and I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I think I might give that a bit of a go. And then sort of like 30 odd years later, there I still was doing
Wow.
a very similar job. So it kind of took really. And now my daughter, she's just started doing exactly the same job too. So inherited
Wow.
social care. That's how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. And that's so you did 30 years. Was it the Canary Islands or the UK?
Oh, in the UK.
In the
Yeah. So
UK.
mostly in sort of forensic mental health services, but also sort of with the homeless, with rough sleepers, people that used to offend, people with complex needs.
Right. So mental health is a big thing right now,
Uh-huh.
especially it's all over, but in New York City, it is a big thing with mental health, all over the world, really. But we see a lot of it out here. I'm from New York, and I worked in the mental health department too. And so, what was the most challenging thing out there in the UK dealing with the homelessness and dealing with the offenders when it came to mental health?
I think you guys have got a very similar problem to us in the UK, where a lot of your homeless community have mental health. They've slipped through the
Mhm.
cracks. No one's
Yes.
picking them up. No one's providing them with any support. And they seem to be fair game for everybody, don't they, once they're out there? So I think it's the heartbreak of seeing somebody who's so incredibly vulnerable, extremely unwell, and everyone just brushes them off as not being able to help them. Oh, well, they won't engage with support. Well, probably because they're like dead paranoid. So they're not going to, are they?
Right.
It's easy to write people off, isn't it? It's not so
Yeah.
easy to put your hand out and help them when they're difficult.
Right. Right. And do you find that the mentally ill, that your patients, were they taking their meds, or you found that it was difficult to even um, have them take the medications? Because a lot of people feel funny about taking meds, but if it's something that is going to help you, then it's needed. What do you think about that? Was it difficult to get them to do it, to take it?
I would say it's probably the number one reason why most people end up back in hospital is non-compliance with your medication and treatment. And, it's one of those ever perpetuating cycles of feeling well enough that you don't need it anymore, nobody picking up that you've stopped. And obviously the longer it goes on and the more unwell you become, the less likely you are to listen to anybody who wants to try and help you get back on them. So it's just deteriorates until you end up back in hospital. And each time somebody goes without their treatment, they just become that little bit worse the next time they become unwell, until, people are left in quite a bad state by the end of it. And I think we need a system that picks people up earlier. If we're more preventative with mental
Right.
health, you're not going to get to that point at the end where, you're really struggling.
Right. Wow. So, what made you choose this career? What made you choose social work?
I really, really enjoyed having a different day every day. I think I met more amazing people in the people that I looked after than anyone else probably does in any of their normal walk of life jobs, because You know, there's nothing like people that have had that many barriers. But, you know, having to overcome them is a lot harder than it is for the rest of the population. So you get people that are, you know, that are really strong, surprisingly strong. And I don't think people recognise, you know, the value that you can get from people that you've written off that maybe have been sidelined. You can't even get a job because nobody wants to employ them.
Right. Yeah. And that makes it hard, you know, not being able to work, and now you're homeless. Are there a lot of people in UK that are homeless?
Yeah, yep. I mean, with the cost of living crisis that we're all going through at the moment, it's just increasing almost daily.
Wow.
You know, there's more and more and more people just sort of joining everybody else on the streets because, you know, they're just being thrown out there because I always think it's a dual thing. It's partly that there isn't the services that people need to help them, but I also think it's about greed. It's about people putting the rents up because they can. You know, well, if you can't pay it, someone else is going to jump in and pay it, so I'm not going to lose. You know, and we've all become maybe that little bit too much in the way of selfishness. You know, it's incredibly selfish to just think, oh, you know, here comes a bonus for me. I can make loads of money right now, but it doesn't matter if, you know, the people that were living in my house before have got nowhere to go. That's not my business. It's not my problem. Well, it is, isn't
Right.
it? It's everybody's problem.
Right. And then they wind up in jail.
Yeah,
They
because
wind,
jail's
yeah.
better than being on the streets, isn't it? You know,
Right.
you've got meals, you've got a roof over your head. You know, to be fair, you probably get cared about that little bit more than you do anywhere else in your life.
Right. Yeah. Do you still do social work?
Only at a distance now. Only at a distance now. So I do a lot more around sort of like helping write policies and investigating when things have gone wrong to find out whether or not, you know, there were any lessons to be learned from that. And, you know, I kind of felt ready to step back into that role after so many years. I think it can be heartbreaking. You know, you lose people, it's frustrating, you're constantly fighting the system to try and get help for someone. And I think after a while you get to a point where you think, I don't know I can do it anymore. You've had 30 odd years now. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, after a while, you just like, but it's good that you have that heart to want to help people, because you really it's gotta be in you to really want to help people. Did you think did you find it very difficult when it was the 2020 with the COVID? Was that really
Oh God,
hard?
yeah.
I
That was
know.
the worst ever. I mean, I think the only plus was that in the UK they had an everybody in policy, which was not because they cared much about people sleeping on the streets, but it was because obviously it was a big COVID risk to have them on the streets. So
Hmm.
everybody got a place, everybody got somewhere to stay. But, you know, that didn't last. Nobody used that as a reason to carry it on. So, you know, afterwards, everyone just went back out on the streets. And as I say, the numbers are increasing. But for people with mental health, it was twice as hard. I mean, if you're already paranoid that the government want to get you and, you know, what's that injection you want to give me, you're hardly going to be engaged with staying in your flat, not having, you know, anyone come out and see you, not being allowed to go out when you want to. Being expected to have the vaccine was very difficult for my guys because, you know, they have their medication injected regularly. So, you know, they're not going to be queuing up for another one, you know,
Right.
however you try and explain it to them.
Wow. Yeah, that had to that was rough. That was rough for the entire world,
Yeah.
but you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, these people out in the street, you know, they're definitely gonna get the COVID, but it's rough. It's rough. So
Yeah.
you was a nightmare in school, huh? What you was doing, Molly?
Oh.
What you was doing, Molly? You said you was bad in school.
There wasn't many rules I came across that I agreed with.
You didn't like the contract, right? I ain't signing this contract. I'm not
What do
doing
you
this.
mean
My
I
name
can't wear those colour tights? Get on. Here I am wearing them.
Wow. Wow.
What are you going to do? Send me home again? Great. Marvellous.
Wow. So
Well, I will be
So
so pleased.
you didn't like school.
I did, and that was the problem. I had a really good group of friends, and we had fun. And I was incredibly naughty, but it was fun. So the whole sort of like, oh, she enjoys school too much, kind of came from them saying, like, could she try and enjoy it a little less and knuckle down and actually do a little bit of work? Because that's what she's supposed to be here for. Not being
Wow.
cheeky, not bunking off and hiding in the toilets, not smoking behind the S block. I'm not
Wow, we was
fighting.
having so you was having more fun. You was enjoying your time in school.
I was a very quiet child at first school. So when I was at kind of over here, we call like middle school, I was like dead quiet. I was the one reading in the corner on a bench or like, keeping to myself. And it's almost like going to secondary school was this like new you moment. I went to school, I didn't know anybody else and they didn't know who I'd been before. So I kind of reinvented myself as this very, very rebellious teenager. And I think we were kind of more like innocent rebellion in my day rather than, no one took knives to school or, really, really hurt each other or anything. It was nowhere near as dangerous as it is now. I think it was more kind of innocent sort of naughtiness, like skulking around behind the S block, having a snidey cigarette and, things like that. It
Right.
wasn't as bad, if you know what I mean. I think if you kind of compared the two lots of pupils, I think a lot of teachers would be kind of like, yeah, I think I'd prefer that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
Not them, though.
right. That's cool. So how long you been living in the UK?
No, that's ended. So I live in the Canary Islands now. So that was done. I used to live not far from London, so I was about 30
Wow,
miles from London. So it was
nice.
a kind of more big city busy. Although I did grow
Busy.
up on farms. My stepdad was a farmer, so I lived on farms quite a lot, which is probably why I enjoyed school because, being really isolated on a
Right.
farm, I didn't really see like a load of other kids and stuff. So it was kind of really cool when I got to go to school and I'm like got all my mates around me and enjoying myself too much,
That's
apparently.
so you never came to the United States. You never came to New
No,
York City.
no, I really would like to though. I really would like to, and I would
Really?
love to go to Maine because I am a big Stephen King fan, and I'm just kind of
Oh
like imagining
wow.
visiting the home of Stephen King. That would just be
Whoa.
amazing.
So you like scary
Hmm.
things. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
take I can't take it. So you be watching all them horror movies, man. It don't do nothing to you. You be laughing.
I love the horror movies. I love the horror movies. They'd have to be like a really good one because I kind of like a storyline. I don't like, like when you watch those, they just like cut them all up with chainsaw type horror films. It's like, oh God, no. I like the ones with like a proper storyline, where you get to the end and go, oh yeah, that was creepy because it kind of felt
Right.
like it could be true.
So when did you write your first book?
Well, I started when I was in my late teens, and I did send one off to a publisher, which back then was obviously typewritten and churned off in an envelope because we didn't really have the internet. I am that old. And I got back a really nice letter from her saying that, it was a little depressing apparently, but that she thought it was brilliant. She loved the characters. She was like, please carry on writing and always send me stuff if you do it. And life kind of got in the way. I had a small child and I didn't really kind of do anything more with it for a long time. And then when we came here, it just all seemed to kind of work again. So, obviously self-publishing's come on a long way over the years. So now you can design your own book covers. You can sort of format your own ebooks and then upload them to all the sites and kind of off you go, really. You don't really need to send them off to somebody to give you rejection after rejection anymore,
Right.
But the
Yeah.
marketing side of it is kind of then up to you, and I hate that. I'm like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
bad
A
at
lot.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell everyone how
You're
good you are. I can't do it.
right. Wow. Wow. So you started writing. What made you say, "Hey, think I want to write a book. I think I want to be an author. Like, what came into your head? Like, you saw a scary movie and were like, yeah, I think I'm going to write something like that. Did that
I
happen?
think it was
Did it
kind
happen
of
like
a
that?
natural progression from reading because I've always been an avid reader. I could read before I went to school, so books have always been around me for my entire life. So I think it just kind of was this progression onto feeling like, you have a story in your head and you just think, oh, I kind of write that down. And then I found that writing's like a little bit like reading because, I mean,
Right.
I think you guys all think that you kind of know what's going to happen. But when you write a book, you actually don't, no matter how much you think you've got it planned. Everyone does their own thing once you put them on paper. And eventually you're kind of like that. Oh, yeah, this is good. And this is what I'm going to do with them. And it becomes like your own
Right.
story that you can read as you
Right.
go. And I really enjoyed that. So then it went from enjoying it to thinking, maybe it'd be like really nice to share these too. But that part's a little bit harder.
Right. Right. I can understand that. Yeah. So, what was your first book?
The first one that I self-published is called Breach of Trust. And I actually based that a little bit around sort of my social care background. So it's based in a supported housing scheme full of sort of like vulnerable ex-offenders. So there's this killer is going around and killing sort of sex offenders that live in this scheme, and obviously they're not the most popular people in the world. So the
Right.
suspect list is rather long, and the
Right.
police are
Right.
a little bit bamboozled by the idea of out of all of these people, we can't find a connection between them all. We can't work out why, like one, how would one killer be doing all of them, because there doesn't seem to be a connection. So it's about really them eventually connecting together where that link is in order to catch the killer before he does another one. So I
Right.
thought maybe a victim that people didn't feel quite so sorry for would be quite interesting, because it kind of turns it on its head a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. And is that on Amazon?
Yeah, they are all there, but they're also on all the other digital sites too. I use a service called Draft to Digital, who are fantastic. And they put it out through like Apple and Kobo and Barnes and Noble and all the usual ones. So, for anyone who's not that keen on maybe using the Zon, or, prefers to get them from elsewhere, they're out there. They're out there. You'll find them. Just Google my
Right.
name.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you wrote how many books?
Seven so far.
Okay.
I have a
So,
new one that came out, so seven.
wow, 7 books. So after you wrote this book, what was your next book?
I kept the same police team and kind of wrote a second one in the series, which has gone off the boil a little bit. But that was called Bedding Down, which was based on a murderer who's killing people in the rough sleeping community, and introduces a character called Big Bill, who works with the police to help them when they're trying to look into communities that maybe wouldn't be very receptive to them. He has a foot in each camp. He's homeless himself, but he's also quite sympathetic with this police officer he has a good relationship with. So Big Bill sort of helps them. And that then led to me writing a sort of standalone novella about Big Bill and his history and how he ended up on the streets.
Oh, that's interesting. And so the book that you sent me, is that your last book right now, or is the latest, I should say, is the latest book that you wrote?
No, there's another one called The Love of His Life, which is a psychological thriller with a stalker theme, but with a massive twist just about halfway through. So you kind of go through the whole thing thinking, I know who's doing this stuff. I definitely know who's doing this stuff. It has to be him. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, yeah, I didn't account for that. So
Wow.
I enjoyed writing that, but that one, it's been sat in cobwebs in my folder for a really long time, because I sent it to a publisher and she had it for ages and ages. And I was quite hopeful. The longer it went on, the more hopeful I was, stupidly. Unfortunately, she turned it down, but in a really nice way. Apparently she said there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it doesn't fit what they're doing right now, or some,
Right.
some of that sort of stuff. And I looked at it and I thought, am I going to send you out again and just leave you sort of, gathering your cobwebs, or shall I just put you out there on my own like I did the others? Because, there's only so much rejection a girl can take, isn't there, really?
Right. You're right. So that's book number 3. So what was the next one?
So after Bill, let me think. What came after Bill? Because we're getting, oh God, just trying to think. Oh yes, I did two horror short story collections. So I've been writing horror short stories and then they all kind of accumulated till I had like loads of them. So they actually ended up filling 2 books. So there's 2 books that are just, horror short story collections. The Twisted Tales collection, Comeuppance and Tales of Darkness Drive. Comeuppance is actually an audiobook as well. So if you're into audiobooks, you can get Becoming Bill, the homeless book, and Comeuppance and Willow Weeps on audio.
Okay. Now
And that
you
was really
said that
fun.
the lady turned down the book, right? So what
Yeah.
happens when she turned it down? What was your next step? What did you do? You just put it away and be like, forget it. What did you do?
No, I was just like, well, I looked at it and I thought I could carry on just sending this out to people constantly and waiting and waiting. And, they can take 3-4 months to come back to you. So, you're
Right.
sitting on it. And I thought, no, I'm going to publish this. So I self-published it. So
Nice.
there it is, out in the big wide world finally, after sitting there gathering its dust.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, because that don't make sense. Just because she didn't want it doesn't mean that it's good, that it's not good.
No.
So that's awesome that you self-published it. That's great. That's great. Now tell me about this book that you sent me.
That's Willow Weeps. So that was
Willow
kind of a
Weeps.
lot of
That's what it is.
my, yeah, that was kind of a little bit my
I can't
daughter.
wait to read it. Now let me tell you, I don't watch scary movies. I don't read nothing that's scary, but I'm gonna read this book because I am so interested in what it's about. Boy, tell me a little bit about it. Just fill me in just a little bit.
This is my daughter Hannah's input. This is because my daughter Hannah loved Ghost Whisperer growing up. Right, it was her favourite series, and we used to watch it together all the time. She even owns the box set and rewatches it. She loves it.
Wow.
She wanted a character a little bit like that, but not kind of as girly. She's not a girly girl herself, and she didn't want a girly girl at all.
Right.
That's what ruined it for her. So we came up with the idea of Cleo, who hears spirits, hears those that are passed on in a similar way, but she's a little bit more down to earth, a little bit less kind of frilly. So that kind of suited Hannah, and that was where the idea kind of built from. So it's kind of like, so who's she going to hear? And that's when I came up with Willow. She was 5 years old when she disappeared from a fairground while her brother was looking after her. 30 years later, and there's never been a trace of her. The police officer that was in charge of the case has retired. That was his only cold case that he never solved. There's a lot of unresolved stuff that you go through, I think, when there's a child missing for that long, that I've tried to kind of include so that it's got sort of depth of characters rather than, just a horrible, ghostly, supernatural storyline. It's not especially gory or anything, because I think a lot of people don't really want that in their thrillers. They want, you've got to have a death, aren't you? But let's not make it too graphic. But and then she passes these messages on to Willow's brother, who's obviously now grown up with a family of his own, and he takes the opportunity to maybe finally find out what happened to his little sister.
Wow. Wow. Is it hard for you to come up with stories?
No, because it's weird. You get weird ideas at like weird times. I'll be watching TV and then something will occur to me and I'll kind of slide along the living room and scribble it on a piece of paper. So I'm like, yeah, I can't be forgetting that. But people are really helpful, because once they know you're writing stuff, they come up with ideas. And
Right.
something like that just kind of triggers something. We go, oh yeah, but then I know what I'd do with them. And that's the best thing ever when people come to you and go, oh, I've thought of something that'd be really creepy. And you're like, give it to me. Give me those creeps.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So your daughter, she loves your books? Like she likes the idea that you write these books?
Yeah, she does. She does. And she's really become quite helpful, actually. I mean, my son's come up with a few ideas too. I mean, he's thrown some ideas out there. He loves all of that stuff. He came up with one of the stories in Tales of Darkness Drive. He came up with a really, really good one. So his story was what would happen if you were a kidnapping gang who were kidnapping wealthy people and ransoming their families, but you accidentally kidnapped a retired serial killer. Because I ain't gonna end well for you.
Wow. That's
So
so
I was
cool.
like, yeah, that's quite a good idea, isn't it?
Wow. So where do you have the time? Where do you sit out time? Like, 'cause it seems like, you got a family, you're still doing a little social work once in a while, right? And then your book. How do you balance your schedule?
Well, because I'm freelancing, so I also do ghostwriting. So I do some
Right.
ghostwriting work and help people, particularly like memoirs, like when people want their lives put down, it's nice for them to have somebody who can help sort of smooth it out and make it look nice for them. So I do that. Obviously I do the freelancing work too. So it means that you can kind of almost make your own schedule. So, sometimes maybe I won't start first thing in the morning, but I'll work until later in the evening or, so yeah, you can fit it all in. My writing's probably suffering a little when I'm busy because obviously you have to prioritize the stuff that's going to pay you the most. And
Right.
currently that's not my books, but you never know. When fortunes reverse, that could be my main source of income one day.
Oh, yeah. You never know. You never
You never
know.
know. Stranger
Okay,
things
so,
have happened.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So, you love Stephen King.
Uh-huh. Yeah, more than anything. I have a lot of books.
So you never met him or nothing like that, right? You never saw him at
No,
any book
no,
signings and things like that.
no, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean,
What's
big fan, not big enough to kidnap him and hobble him like, Misery or anything, but,
right? What's your favorite? What's your
not a
favorite?
creepy fan
What's
or
your
anything.
favorite movie? What's your favorite movie with Stephen King or favorite book? What's your
Oh,
favorite? Oh
that's a
man,
hard one.
you got a
God.
lot.
Someone asked this the other day, actually, and I was just like, oh, God, what? Like one? I've got to pick one. Oh, no. I mean, I think
Wow.
films, I think Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile made amazing films, actually, really amazing films. And probably the closest ones where you thought, yeah, this is as good as the book. This is as good as the book. 'Cause that's usually the problem, isn't it? You just think, you watch the film and go, oh, my God, why have they changed all that stuff? Reading wise, Misery. I think I really enjoyed reading that because I think that's really,
Oh
really
yeah.
clever. I think the way that was written particularly was really good. But I like the short story collections that he does as well. Actually, they're really good. You get some real gems in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Misery was deep. That was deep. That movie was like, what? I was like, oh my gosh. And they said the book was better, but they usually say the books are better. It's more in it goes more into detail. But oh man, that Misery was something else.
Well,
Especially that scene and she found out he was moving around in the place. She put
yeah,
them
she
ankles,
hobbled in.
she put
Nasty.
that foot up on that board. Oh Lord, I was like, oh gosh. I was like, that was good
They
actors
even
and
toned it down a
actresses.
bit in the film because I mean I think there was like in the book there was this bit where she feeds one of the police guys to the ride along lawnmower. I was like really,
Really?
yeah,
That's in the
that was quite
book.
rank. Yeah,
Oh
that's quite
wow.
rank.
Wow. Yeah, they ain't put that, they ain't add that in the movie. They just
No,
showed
that's
that
kind of
she
other
killed
things.
him. Yeah. That's why I say the book is more detailed. Would you ever want to make a movie from out of your books?
Well, I think there's kind of like, if you ask any of us that, I would say yes, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. But you never know, Molly. You never know. You
Exactly.
keep writing, you'd be surprised.
It happens, doesn't it? The right person listens to it or sees it, and then they go, yeah, this is just what I'm looking for.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah. Do you have a favorite book? Do you have a story that you like, yeah, I really like that? Is there any of your books that really just, or they, they all make you just feel that,
What, like
but
have a
is there
favourite
just that,
child? Oh my God, I
yeah.
can't have a favourite child. They'll hear me.
No, is it like, you don't have a favorite book, like you could just say, nah, I really put my thing into this.
Yeah, the most recent one, The Love of His Life. I'm really, really pleased with that. I really enjoyed writing it, and I took a very long time over it. I posted parts of it for free on a platform called Inkit, and all the feedback was really good. And that one, I think I probably put most into that. That one's, yeah, and it's a trilogy, so there's 3 of them altogether in this collection. So the second one's written and on pre-order. The third one is slightly eluding me currently, but I will capture it and finish it.
Right,
Promise.
right. And so you find the time to sit down and write these books. Is writing difficult for all those people out there that want to write books? What advice can you give them if they, just beginning to start writing a book?
I think we've all got a story in us. It doesn't have to be a real story. That's not to say that everyone's got like a whole urge to tell their own story, but I think we've all got a story in our heads that, we'd like to see on paper. And I mean, if, just get it down. Just get it down and don't even worry about it. Don't be all like looking at it going, oh, my grammar's real poor, or, that doesn't work. Just whack it on the page as it flies into your head. There's time enough to go back and have a look. I think someone once said you can correct bad work, but you can't correct a blank page. So just put something on there, just whack it out and have a read and think, yeah, I think this works. What have I got to do to make this sound that little bit better, or what can I do to improve it? But at least then you've got your raw details down there. So, there's no reason why we shouldn't be putting our stories out, even if we only ever share them with each other, even if you only share them on a free site or send them to your friends to read, do it. Get it out there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. So, social worker, mom, author. What else does Molly have up her sleeve? What's in the future for Miss Molly Garcia?
Well, hopefully that film deal you were talking about, I mean, that would be
Oh,
amazing, wouldn't
yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Like the big
Executive,
house, nice
producer,
swimming pool, all that malarkey,
yes, writer, director, everything. She doing everything. Molly
Yeah,
Garcia,
yeah.
I can see that. So,
Last say on the casting, make sure it's all, like all done properly. You don't want all
yes,
that thing where they put someone wrong into it, because that's what readers hate, isn't it? Like when you watch the film or the series and you go, oh, I've read that and he does not look like that. What have they done? It's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, totally different. Like, what? Doesn't even match. Yeah,
but he's
yeah,
tall.
yeah.
What are you doing?
Wow, wow. So, where can we find these beautiful books that you've written? I mean, we gotta let the world know. Where can we find your stuff at?
Well, everything is on Amazon, as always. I mean, whether you love it or hate it, you cannot ignore the fact that it is the biggest book selling site out there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, also on all the other sites. So on things like Apple, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, actually, and Waterstones in the UK. So very proud of that. So if you look, I think on most sites you will find like Smashwords. You know, all of those. It's out there. It's in the library, on the library apps. So if you just like go to your favourite place to buy and then Google my author name, you will find one of my books at least.
Okay. And you got how many now?
7.
Seven.
So
So you were,
plenty of
can you
choice for
remember
you
all
out
7? You can remember all 7 again, right?
there. Sorry?
You remember all 7 of your books?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Let's name them again. Let's name it. Y'all gotta check it out. Amazon. I need y'all to pay attention to the titles, but she's gonna give you your information. But I want to hear these titles again. Name these 7 books again, Molly.
Okay, so we have, starting from the beginning, Breach of
Yeah.
Trust and Bedding Down, Becoming Bill, Comeuppance, Tales of Darkness Drive, Willow Weeps, and The Love of His Life. We also have an 8th one that's on pre-order called Still the Love of His Life, which is the 2nd book that follows the first one. So
That's a part 2.
well, yeah, so it's a trilogy. So The Love of His Life finishes Dark Obsessions. So then you go on to Still the Love of His Life to find out what happens with all the characters next.
Wow.
A
That's
little bit of a
awesome.
cliffhanger.
Wow. You are really doing your thing. Proud of you. That is awesome. So, what, anything else, you want to tell us about yourself, or do you want to give us your information, like, your email, and are you on Facebook, Instagram? Give us a little bit more information so we can find you.
Oh, you'll definitely find me on Facebook. I am on Facebook under my author name. You'll find me as a page, but I'm also at M Garcia Author on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well. I haven't quite got into some of the others. I am old, so you know, my daughter
Stop
helps
it.
sometimes.
Oh, you know the kids know everything. They know. They're computer text, boy. They know everything. So you
Yeah,
need
she was like,
help
"You've
with
got to be
any.
on TikTok," and I'm like, "I've got to be on
Yes.
what?" She's like, "You got to be on TikTok." I'm like, "I don't dance. I don't dance, love. Have you seen me dance? People are at risk of dying when I do dancing. It's not doing that." Yeah, well, you don't have to dance. They have book talk. So now I've discovered that yes, this is very true.
Yeah, it's
Not
no
just
joke.
videos of
It's
people
no.
dancing.
Oh yeah. Have you ever been, before we go, have you ever been to like places where you can show your book, or display it? Have you ever been to any events where they have like,
No,
events for people, for authors to promote their books?
no, I think partly that's going to be a difficult thing for me because of living where I do. I mean, the post service here is absolutely appalling, and there's definitely no book. There's definitely no sort
Right.
of book functions or anything to go to. So that will be one of the things that's a lot harder. But I mean, luckily now a lot of things are virtual, aren't they? So I suppose the hope is that eventually there's so much virtual stuff that you can attend anything from anywhere, and that would probably work better.
Right. Okay. Well, um, give me uh something for all those people out there that's getting ready to write. Give me an inspirational quote, something that you could tell a person that, hey, they're a little nervous about writing, they don't know what to do. Tell them one more time, what should you do if you're getting ready to write a book?
I think it's hard to find that confidence and it's very hard to start. But just dive in there. Just as it comes into your head, type it down on your paper. You can read back, you can change things, you can make it better later on. But until it's on that piece of paper, it's just inside your head, dying a death. You know, get it out there and share it with people. We all have a story to tell, all of us. Everyone has one inside them. And whether you tell it yourself or you ask someone to write it for you, get your story out there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Get your story out there. Coming from soon to be director Molly Garcia. I'm telling you, I feel it, Molly. I feel it already. You gonna come out with a movie. I don't, Molly, now you come up with this movie. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch it because I done told you I'm scared of scary movies. But I'll watch it just because it's made from you,
Well,
directed
we'll find the
by
least
you.
scary one and send you like proper tickets to the premiere and all that stuff. So,
Heck,
get ready,
I'll
get
do
your
it.
frock, get your frock.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I want to thank you so much for being a guest, man. This is awesome. Like she said, check her out. She's on social media. Check those books out. They're on Amazon. And yeah, I know you're gonna love them. I'm gonna definitely read this book. I hope I won't be scared, but I'm gonna read it with the lights on. I'll make sure I have all the lights on in the house. I'm definitely not gonna read it at night. But I can't wait to read it, and I know it's gonna be awesome. I'm definitely gonna promote your book out, put it on my page. And Molly, you friends with me on Facebook, right? Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah, we're friends.
Okay, good, because I posted a picture of your book, and it's gonna be awesome. Anything else that you want to promote, Molly? Let me know. You got my email. You hit me up. I'd love to have you back on my show again because I know you're gonna keep writing and you doing your thing, and it's awesome. Thank you so much for you being a social worker for 30 years and continuing to still work in that field, because it's not easy when it comes to homeless people and mental health, and it's a very difficult job, and offenders, it's hard, it's not easy. So when you're out there helping people, trust me, there's someone who appreciates you, and it's more than you think. So thank you so much for, you know, showing that love for other human beings because it's so needed. So thank you, Molly.
And
And
thank you for having me. It's been really good fun.
absolutely,
More than I thought it would
absolutely.
be.
Yeah. And I just want to tell everybody out there, thanks for tuning in to Listen Up, Listening podcast. Like I always say, live, laugh, love. Love you first because you can't love anyone or anything unless you love yourself first. Keep God first in your life. Stay healthy, stay focused. Love you, mommy and daddy forever. Thank you, Molly, so much for being on the show. And we're going to talk. We definitely going to talk again.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone. Have a really good day, whatever time of day it is with you guys.
Yes, it's 12:52 p.m. for us. What time is it for you?
Oh, 5:52. So like we're
Ooh,
thinking about dinner and everything now.
wow. Well, eat for me because I am hungry. So have a nice plate for me. Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you, Brazy. Cheers.
Okay.
Take
All
care.
right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, this is Molly Garcia from sunny Spain. You've been listening to Listen Up, Listening podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, and check out all of my books on Amazon. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplistenin5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.